Hey folks, I didn't want too much time to pass before we sort of debriefed and recapped last weekend, which was the Polecat Chase Bay's customer appreciation event. Just wanted to talk about some things, some high points, some changes that we're gonna make, and answer a couple questions that we asked on Instagram. First things first, thank you guys so much for showing up. Drivers, media, staff, spectators, everybody, thank you so much for showing up. That was one of the best weekends of my life. Pretty stressful Saturday morning, but just so positive, just so great. And I feel that we kind of curated just a lot of good friends and cool people that we know. We threw them into a paddock, and a lot of media guys that are good at sharing content and good at what they do photo video wise. And what happened was incredible. I really feel that the glory days of drifting are not over. We are in them now. And drifting is ultimately a young motorsport that I love very much. I love all forms of motorsport. I enjoy grip and track, time attack, road racing, but drifting is especially near and dear to me because we've been doing it for so long, and obviously it's what Chase Bays is most known for. So to see this last weekend happen and to watch the excitement after the event, during the event, before the event, everything is incredible. And drivers and media guys will remember that I said in the meeting, let's get to Sunday and see if I'm burnt out, if my staff and I are burnt out. If we want to do another one, we're not burnt out. We are more excited and more energized to do more of these and make them even better. So let's get into some things. I'm going to answer some questions that we got asked on Instagram and then talk about some minor changes. There's tons of little changes that are boring, but we'll go over the major ones. To answer some questions, so the most common question is, when's round two? Obviously it was cold. That was our least favorite part of the event, is that it was very cold. So we want to do like a pre and post season, maybe not too into November and December like we did. We're waiting for everybody else's schedule because we just kind of want to squeeze in where everybody isn't. So we're thinking in March or in April, so the weather will be perfect and beautiful. And then we're thinking in October. So give us a few weeks on that. It's early December right now. Give us a few weeks, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna wait for, we run final bout, some knuckle ups and grid lifes, and then we're gonna do some champ car. So we're gonna wait for those schedules to come out if they haven't already. We're gonna try to work around some Japan stuff and some Formula Drift type stuffs and just get as many of the same drivers as we can again and try to create that same energy that we had in the last one, but just smoother. So the next question, how's your tire wear? Because mine was rough. Yeah, think about this. So if you look at the track, there's the first section, and then it goes up the hill, and then down into the kind of S's, and then there's the 10A, 10B, the horseshoe, and the left-hander and uphill, and there's the uphill and the downhill. People's minds are blown after the first lap. You have a track that has 4 or 5 destinations of a track. So if there was a track that we went to that just had that first section, that's a section that we go to and we have an absolute blast. And then the next section, that's a section that we go to just for that, and we would have a blast. So on and so forth, all the way through the end of the track. They're all destinations, but they're all consecutive. So you have 5 destinations in a row. You can drift full course completely smoothly and easy at the top of 3rd gear, maybe sometimes 4th gear. And yeah, that's gonna be rough on your tires. The surface is smooth, but it's just gonna be rough. So I think planning ahead, guys, bring more tires, and we'll hopefully work with more tire groups so that they can bring tires to the track and change them for you consistently. But yeah, tire wear is gonna be rough when you have basically 5 destination tracks consecutively. I've been to most of the drift tracks in America, many of the drift tracks in Japan. Never been to a track in my life that is on throttle, more consecutive turns that are smooth without parking it or letting up or straighting. I think all the drivers that have driven it know, absolutely incredible. So bring more tires. Bring, I would say, 20 sets of tires. Save up. What else we got? Josh, Front Street, he said, is mayonnaise an instrument? I tried so hard not to ask that in the driver's meeting. I understand that. I think the same thing every time, and I honestly would not have an answer for you, Josh. I think we should, if anybody knows, just say in the comments if you know that if mayonnaise is an instrument. Me and Josh are dying to know. Good question. Will there be more events in the future? Yes. Will you do it again? Yes. When's the next one? Yep. Warmer weather, please. Got it. The event was amazing. Thank you for putting it on and giving me the chance to drive. So a lot of just, compliments, not really questions, but same question, we answered it. Let me say some stuff that wasn't asked. One thing that I thought was cool is that whenever we were doing featured drivers, we had a lineup, so we did them kind of in a row. So just something to acknowledge and appreciate, just attention to detail of my team, is that From the first one, which I think was Hurt. We've done them all in a row up until the last one a couple days before the event. So just maybe instead of customer appreciation, just Chase Bay's marketing team appreciation. And speaking of lineups, the lineup on the front straight, which I mentioned in the driver's meeting, we took it from Final Bout. Thank you, we stole it. And as Swan said, if you admit that you stole it, it's not stealing, which is good to know. Thanks, Swan. But yeah, so the lineup on the front straight was awesome. I feel like that was kind of the middle moment, and that's when the stress sort of ended for me and my team, the load-in stress and the beginning of the day chaos. That's when it kind of let up and things started running more smoothly. And then that was the moment we can go, holy crap, this is absolutely incredible. We have almost 90 incredible builds lined up perfectly. All the vibes are good. That to me was like one of the highlights. And in terms of organization and operation on that, I think on the next one, we'll give it a little bit more time because we kind of squeezed the schedule. We had to miss 2 sessions because everybody was loading in early in the morning Saturday. I think what we'll do is to give a little bit more time for the lineup because we want to be able to hang out for maybe 30, 35 minutes while we're out there. We also squeezed it in lunch hour. And next we fed it into the big entry contest. So a lot of drivers told me, man, I didn't eat lunch until 3 and I was shaking in the big entry contest. I get it, I eat a lot too, so I can't skip lunch, so I understand. So we'll figure that out. I think just not missing the first 2 sessions won't make us all so anxious to drive, and then we'll be able to, it'll be smoother, so we'll a lot more time for that. The big entry contest is another segment of changes. The first half of it was very messy. There was some communication issues between our team and who went where and all that, and we smoothed that up and then it was flowing good. The heat in the tires was a problem because it was so cold, and so a couple people just said, just let them run through the track and go slow and keep heating the tires. That way when they get all the way through the track, it's almost their turn again. So minor changes that will make all that go smoother. I really love the big entry contest. I love Greg and Jimmy from Knuckle Up. On the mics, they did an incredible job. They made it so much fun. And then, our spectator count was low because it was so cold in first event, but all the spectators that were there, maybe 50 or 60 of them, loved it. It was a great time. So we're gonna make that a staple, the big entry contest. And also I think the drivers didn't know what to expect. So it's funny because we were at the top of the hill talking with all the drivers and they all said, man, I blew it, I did this and this. And I'm like, yeah, everybody did. Everybody made the same mistakes on that entry because it's a weird turn where your car loads up and then you have to settle and reinitiate. Everybody thought they could initiate at the beginning. And so that's why you kind of saw the messiness that was from obviously great drivers. Again, a lot of internal type stuff. We're gonna do 2 rollbacks for towing. Maybe just a truck just to pull them out of the weeds so they can drive back. But that was one thing, is when cars would go off and have to be pulled out. That took a long time. It took a lot of drive time out. So I think for the next one, we'll be more prepared. We'll have 2 rollbacks, or just two tow trucks basically. We'll have one at the front straight and one in the middle in the cutout in the trailer boneyard. So that's a big one I think that a lot of drivers mention, is like, man, if we could have sped that up. Totally understand, I get it, we want the same things. So that's easy, we can do that. And then, for me, a lot of the frustration was that I really wanted, and again, it was a beta event, but I really wanted a clean paddock. So when you come in that front gate, it should be a line where there's only clean cars or drift cars and activations. And so what ended up happening is midway through the day, there's golf carts and people's normal cars are parked poorly. I don't like that, I don't want it. I want for the spectators for it to be incredible. I want it to be memorable. And so we have, I'm originally a Honda guy and then we got into drifting. Still have a lot of Hondas. So we have all my OG Honda friends from Nashville. We have a JDM Classic section. So we'd have, Squirks, Turbo NSX, and Mo and Richie and Tony and all of them with their clean 90s Hondas. I want that, like when you walk through the paddock, that's the first thing you see, they're lined up. And then boom, you get into all of our sponsors and all of our main drivers. All the cars are perfectly lined up on the left and the right, no normal cars. If there's any trucks, they're behind, so we can work together as vendors and and drivers to make sure that that stays clean. And I really didn't make it out to the driver paddock throughout the day because it was just so chaotic. But from what it looked like, all the cars stayed nice and clean and parked, and all that stuff matters for spectators. You know, as a driver, you'll just pull in and work on your car, but just try to think, like I mentioned in the drivers meeting, try to think bigger. You know, this is impactful for visitors that come to the event. When you go through the paddock and everything's lined up, let's think like IMSA would, or you know, F1 or NASCAR. I know F1's kind of hands off on that stuff, but when you're doing a paddock walk, make it be clean, make it be tidy. This is an event that's a gallery. It's high-end driving, it's a high-end track. We want the cars to be high-end, so let's work together on all that. Keep it neat, keep it tidy. All the cars in the front activation paddock, we all were mismatched and crooked and stuff. Let's keep it neat and clean. And that's something that I wasn't gonna harp on too hard, even for us, just, you know, at the chase base section to keep clean. But that's kind of all I've got for this debrief, is just those few things that we want to make changes on, and then just, you know, getting more seat time, more drive time, smoother schedule, just as good vibes, if not better. It's going to be an awesome one, this next one. We have the right team. We can clean up our little tiny mishaps, and I'm looking really forward to it. So stay posted. It should be about, I'm thinking March and April, just whichever will fit where we go in terms of everybody else's schedule, but I'm excited. Thank you guys again. Really, thank you.